Moopz have been aggressive and love to engage. Shyvana, we all know about, just ridiculously strong if she gets going. And sometimes, even if she doesn't get going, that's the dangerous thing about her. And then Elise, you tipped on that one earlier on. Big contested pick between these two teams, banned out now.
Annie's available right now. And if migxa wants to go for Annie, that would be a support choice that you'd be stealing away from Nyph. But, as we talked about, Impaler, he loves his Vi. It's a champion that won them 2 games against SK Gaming in the qualifiers. He was unable to play Vi against MYM, defaulted to Xin Zhao, and it's basically an all-in jungler. He likes to throw himself into these battles over and over and over again. And I'd have to think Nyph would be considering this Annie right now.
Well, on the other side as well, for Shook, he played yesterday with that Vi against the Copenhagen Wolves, and with Elise taken out, with Lee Sin taken out there as well. That means his options are going to be a little bit more limited. I'll be interested to see what Shook goes for there. Currently a Malzahar being hovered over by Alliance. I'm not falling for that one just yet though, Wickd. We'll leave that until it actually gets locked in the future. Malphite, however, would certainly be a lot more realistic from us, from them knowing what Wickd plays. And there's the Annie, as you mentioned as well.
Yeah, small homage to Snoopy there, Jungle Malzahar being hinted at. Wickd is known for his Malphite. He built Trinity Force on Malphite against Dignitas in Battle of the Atlantic. We've seen yesterday how Roccat made it work with the Pantheon in the mid lane. Right, so I would like to highlight that it was a different pick for mid, and it worked in their favor. Ziggs is still available here if Moopz wants to go that way for mid laners, but they may leave those picks for later down the line. And Nyph's Annie basically single-handedly won them the series, for SK Gaming during promotion when he was playing for them. He led from the front, a lot of stuns, and did very, very well with that champion.
And on the other side, we saw the Lucian being locked in for Super Hot Crew there. And actually, it was MrRalleZ who used Lucian in both games against migxa in that last-ditch effort to qualify here for the LCS just, well, it's not even a week ago, is it? Saturday that took place. They also locked in the Gragas, which, again, is a big pick for Moopz. He played it yesterday, and he played it in both of those games against MYM.
A great amount of utility that you've got from this team already. You've got very good engage from Vi, arguably the best engage in the game. Single target locks it down. You can disperse everybody else with that Gragas, make sure that your team can focus a single target down. What we are seeing though from this Annie and Malphite is also phenomenal engage. If you combo Tabzz plus Unstoppable Force, that's a lot of AoE death that can happen very quickly. The stun as well as the knockup. There's nothing Super Hot Crew can do if they group up, but that's the catch. You've got, you know, the Wombo combo, but it needs to hit multiple targets. So as long as Super Hot Crew don't start grouping up, they can actually avoid a lot of this power from Alliance.
I'm wondering if we're going to see Mundo Thresh here, because that's actually, if they pick up Mundo Thresh, the exact same lineup that they went with against migxa in that first game of the best of 3 on Saturday to qualify them. Currently, they did lock in the Thresh, however, they seem to be hovering over the Evelyn at this point. So there might be a slight change, but at least 4 out of 5 champions are what they picked previously.
If this Eve is being hovered over, this would be a top lane Eve. It's something that Mimer has actually talked about extensively and chatted. Wow, changes it over. Right, so the point I'm trying to make, Mimer's talked about top lane Eve. He likes to play stealth champions. For later in the LCS, we'll get back to that. Flash Teleport Mundo is a thing. It's something we see often. It would also help counter the Flash Teleport Malphite that we're seeing from Wickd. And Mimer also used the teleport very effectively against migxa. Maybe not as frequently as we would have liked, but when he did teleport, he did secure some kills.
So we just saw there the last pick coming out of Alliance was LeBlanc, and that's obviously going to be going over to Froggen. And I was wondering, Kha'Zix, not a champion that Froggen particularly liked to play during his heyday in Season 3. We heard him say that he had a few problems in terms of, you know, he'd go for those traditional AP casters rather than moving towards what was then the norm and more assassin-based mid lane. And that's what made me wonder a little bit there, but that will actually go to the jungle for Shook, and he will be playing the LeBlanc in mid.
This is a very scary assassin team, and there are a number of squishy targets here. Vi, until she gets items up, she's naturally tanky, but can get bursted down from a LeBlanc Kha'Zix combo.
Yeah.
The key to this, though, is making sure that Shook is going to get those resets in those mid-game team fights, and that's only going to happen if the Unstoppable Force and the Tabzz lands on a couple of targets. If they don't burst targets down, the same thing is going to happen to Alliance, what happened to Gambit yesterday, where Alex ran LeBlanc in the mid lane, he couldn't burst people down, LeBlanc falls off if you can't insta-give somebody, and you don't have teamfight presence. Once you've blown all your spells and your cooldowns, you don't offer a whole lot as that champion. So this is quite a risky composition, and I think Alliance are maybe just relying on their ability to find these kills.
So earlier on, just before we got into bans and picks, we talked about the fact that Alliance might need more time to work on the synergy to really feel it as a team, although Froggen has openly said that him and Shook have bonded really well and have been playing very good together in game. But this combination that they've gone for here requires them to be all on the same page.
Definitely. What it also does, though, is in those 5v5 team fights, there's no room for error with this. You've got very squishy champions. Your Annie, your LeBlanc, your Malphite need to hit the same targets. If, however, they play the skirmish game, if you have the two assassins of Kha'Zix and LeBlanc sticking to single targets, relying on that natural synergy that Shook and Froggen have, that's going to help counterbalance this, maybe misplays in those team fights.
Well, here we go then. Super Hot Crew versus Alliance, our first game of day 2 here in the Super Week to kick off the 2014 European LCS. Who is going to be getting off to the dream start in this one? Again, level 1 we've been seeing, I think only one game we saw level 1 action actually, and that was of course Fnatic versus Gambit.
Yeah, game 1 of the 2014 season, and it was basically because Gambit didn't ward behind them. They went for an invade, didn't have the information, and Fnatic surrounded them. Every other team has done this very passive start. It is still a little bit early, so if somebody was going to go for that delayed invade, you tend to only start positioning around 1.5 minutes or so. And as it stands right now, there's absolutely no inclination that that's going to be the case. Shook and Mimer just trading a couple of love taps there. It's just going to maybe slow Shook a tiny bit down. Almost 100 HP, not ideal, but not necessarily too harmful either.
Yeah, he should have that all back anyway before anything will be really happening. Now Wickd has put himself inside of the Tribush, and he's going to catch himself a briefcase, but he's got his passive, so what does he really care? Nice reposition there to dodge that one from Mimer, who's like, nope, I know you're still in there somewhere. Throws one through the wall, and that will connect. So down in this bottom side, we can see that Nyph obviously got that stun already charged up. MrRalleZ was there as well, and migxa actually stopping on the top side. There's the 1 minute 35, and the wards start to come down from those trinkets.
Yeah, Doran's items are plenty across the boards here. Both of our supports, migxa and Nyph, have gone for those Doran shield starts. The one thing that is going to be interesting about this is whoever gets the advantage early on is going to allow their AD carry to snowball quite heavily. MrRalleZ and Lucian is going to have a little bit more low-level damage than Ezreal, but over the extended poke fights, MysticShot's a little bit better at just chipping away at your opponent. So we'll have to keep our eyes on how effectively that works out for, well, either team. And you see both junglers starting on the top half of the map.
Yep, top half of the map. That's a red for Shook and the blue for Impaler. So they'll probably be headed straight over to the other side for now. And we've seen that Ezreal already yesterday in our final game. Creaton put in a perfect performance really with that one. Didn't die in the game. Had, I think, 10 kills it was by the end of things. And, well, it was a long game at least. But it's just showing that this Ezreal still can be used very, very well.
Yeah, especially helpful when you are a full Infinity Edge and Last Whisper above your opponent's AD carry. Alliance will be looking to replicate that. Tabzz himself is a very good mechanical player. His timing is basically perfect with many of his skill shots, and we do see Tabzz caught out.
Yeah, Tabzz getting caught out and actually going to use the barrier here. The Ignite is burning away on him. He's not going to go down from that one, but he has used everything. Flash and his barrier were used from the other side. Only the Ignite coming out of migxa. That's a great trade for them.
Commentator's curse. I'm singing Tabzz praises. He gets caught out, blows all of his summoner spells. Nyph is the savior there. He managed to get a double man stun there with that Annie, and that basically prevented MrRalleZ getting that last auto attack or two down. But now without all of those summoners in that safety net, if another hook catches, that is going to cost him first blood. Shook is looking to secure that for himself though. Double buffs backed up and looking to jump in this mid lane, but I think Moopz, with his flash and his body slam available, should be able to clear enough distance to get away from any impending threat.
You'd expect so. Actually, the tether came down there from Froggen. They're going to go for this one as well, and there is the flash used by Moopz, and really well timed from that one. He knew he was going to get stunned up, and with the fact that Shook was hanging off to the side, that was a good decision. Meanwhile, Impaler here actually starting a bit of an invade on the Wraith.
So smart play by Impaler, realizing where Shook was, you know, making an estimate, stealing the camp away. But this early game for Froggen, already having a CS lead over Gragas, it is a ranged champion, so a little bit easier to farm at these low levels. It's definitely going to play out. Moopz with no flash means once Froggen hits level 6, Moopz is at danger of getting shut down, getting, you know, killed, especially because Shook rather can leap in from a safe distance as well.
This bottom lane there, where all the action first went down. Tabzz is now up above half health, but still no barrier, still no flash. And Nyph is going to have to do everything to keep him safe. If they go a little bit more aggressive than they are now, I mean, you don't expect Tabzz to get caught out by a hook right on his tower like that, but stranger things have happened. This top lane been fairly quiet, as we've kind of come to expect, to be honest, from the top lane, certainly when it's a Malphite versus a Mundo.
Yeah, and both of these champions are running teleport as the secondary summoner, so there's actually very little kill potential in a straight-up head-to-head. They're going to be able to sort of sustain and poke each other a little bit, and it's going to be a farm fest. The only thing we need to keep our eyes on is whoever uses their teleport first once they hit level 6, and whoever makes it more effective. Securing kills or objectives, dragons or towers, is what we should be looking for.
Oh, Impaler now headed around for this push on towards the bottom lane. Actually, no wards there right now, but Alliance are fairly far back on that tower. There is Shook actually doing his wolves at this point, so we'll see. He's actually below half HP, so he might end up recalling after that one. Either way, Impaler's not gone through to the tri-bush, so they should be safe at bottom. Yeah,
the one lane that I do want to keep my eyes on for the next minute or so is this mid lane. As we're getting closer to level 6, Froggen is still accelerating ahead with LeBlanc. Is a very, very great position to be in. She's notoriously difficult to CS with in the early levels, and dealing with Gragas, who's calling with that Oktoberfest skin, 20 CS at this point in the game is scary. And as Froggen is going to get more items and hit level 6 first, Moopz is not in a good position. He needs help from Impaler or from Mimer to roam or gank.
Yeah, and the jungle has been fairly farm-centric at this point. We did see Shook coming a little bit towards mid, as did Impaler down the bottom lane as well. But other than that, they've been fairly quiet, wanting to get those levels racked up because, well, at level 6, especially for Impaler, once he gets that Assault and Battery, he brings the chance of a successful gank a lot more likely. This bottom lane is now being finally pushed out a little bit more from Tabzz, who's back up to full HP, not being back to buy from this one, so he didn't really miss anything in terms of the CS and health, despite that trade earlier on.
Yeah, it did end up working in his favor. I think very passive, slow play is the reasoning for that. We do have a very quick pause. I'll find out exactly what the difficulty is, but a slow start. I mean, with the exception of Froggen CSing pretty heavily in the mid lane, all the other lanes aren't doing all that much.
And we can see their Alliance on your screens. It actually seems to be a slight problem with Wickd. He's just having his client restart. You see the admins there behind him, making sure everything goes well. It's not as if there's much action going on in that top lane up until now. It's Mundo and Malphite bashing heads and pretty much damaging each other, which will then just be regen back to full HP, yeah, as is life in the top lane.
Neither of the junglers have really made any sort of impact in this early game yet. I think for a lot of the pressure we put on both Impaler and on Shook, I maybe would have expected a little bit more attempts. Shook, he was able to show his face, and that was able to burn the flash from Moopz earlier on. But outside of that very brief attempt, not much has been happening.
The Alliance looking pretty chilled right now, and they'll be wanting to. I mean, they're 0 for 2 in the LCS right now, and that's part of the focus that obviously is going on here. That they've had that time now overnight to sit down and say, look, guys, let's watch those games back. What went wrong for us? What went right for us as well? Because now, as you said in the pre-game, there were just a few little missteps, misplays here and there, which, if they'd have gone right for them, might have changed the outcome of those games that they played yesterday. SUPA HOT CREW in a similar position, though, to be honest. They lost their first game against Roccat, and they'll want to bounce back.
They're vastly different situations, and my thinking for this is SUPA HOT CREW tried a fast push strategy. They made a very clear, concise decision. We want to run Caitlyn, Nunu. They picked Nunu after Malphite had been locked in. One of the things that makes it very difficult if you're running Nunu Kate is if anybody can get onto you quickly. And once Malphite was locked in, they still responded with Nunu. So they made it very clear, this was the strategy we want. They failed it, and now they have to go back to the drawing board. For a team like Alliance, they need to work on their decision-making, their in-game leadership. How do you teach somebody when to challenge Baron, when to pick a dragon fight, when to fall back to a tower? And I think it can only come with games. And games like this is where they have to start taking notes and applying what they learned yesterday.
Oh, this is where they need to start picking up points, as Moopz are going to be in trouble. They're going to dive in. Is this first blood? Oh, great barrel! Shot goes down! First blood did go to Froggen there, though. His last tick took down Moopz just in time, but credit to Moopz there where it's due, picking up the kill as he goes down.
Yeah, phenomenal barrel there from Moopz's explosive cast, knocking Shook under the tower, taking more damage than he was anticipating, trading 1 for 1, and when you're 30 CS down, That kill is so useful. Allows him to pick up that Athene's Unholy Grail, return back to lane with double Dorans, got a little bit more HP to survive the burst, and importantly, the mana and the magic resist from that chalice to once again sustain against this onslaught that Froggen is laying down.
Incredible start to this one. As you said, a little bit slow from the get-go, but it's games like these that pick up pace so fast. And we'll be seeing that decision-making from Alliance in a little while, I'm sure, once teams start thinking about Dragon control. Here is the hook landing on towards Nyph. He does have his stun charged up. That'll go on towards MrRalleZ, but they are going to go for Nyph in this one. He's fallen very low. MrRalleZ going to dash in there. Flashes in as well, but he's gone away, and that could mean the death of MrRalleZ. Actually, a good play on towards Tabzz there from migxa. He's putting down a lot of damage of his own, and Alliance losing out on that bottom lane.
Yeah, that last auto attack just not landing there from MrRalleZ. It looked like he actually even cancelled that one, afraid of taking too much damage from the tower. Backs away, and again, Alliance come out behind MrRalleZ and migxa. It is affecting the CS. There's already a 15 deficit, and that's the second all-in that we've seen from MrRalleZ and from migxa that has given them a lead. They need to start snowballing it now to denying CS to Tabzz. You can see the minion wave against the tower, and then applying damage to the Alliance tower themselves.
Yeah, done it perfectly there, did SUPA HOT CREW's bottom lane, pushing that up onto the wave, onto the tower, there we go, I'll get my words out eventually, and just denying that completely, sets him even further behind, and gives the chance for MrRalleZ to pick himself up a BF sword and a longsword to come back into this lane, which is going to be a little bit painful for Tabzz at the start. He's got himself a cutlass.
Now that cutlass is purely compositional, based on your opponents, that you've got the Vi and the Dr. Mundo who are going to be throwing themselves at you. Once that gets upgraded to the Blade of the Rune King, it really gives Ezreal even more kiting power. Lands some percentage HP damage with his Mystic Shot, and it works in his favor. Impaler right now is level 6. He does have Assault and Battery available, so if they want to jump onto Nyph, who is still level 5, it could be a kill if that hook had landed.
Yeah, hook just off to the side, and actually Arcane Shift from Tabzz got him away from that one. Up back into the top lane. As I said before, quiet lane in terms of kills, but it might not stay that way. Froggen has moved himself up there. There is the unstoppable force coming in. Mimer going to go low. Will the leash actually come in? Yes, it will. Froggen surely going to finish this one off. No, one more auto attack is all it needs. Wickd flashing in. He's tanking up the tower right now. One more is going to take him very low. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they've managed to pick off another kill there, this time onto Shook.
So Froggen and Wickd managing to pick up the kill there. A little bit risky. There was no ignite available for the start of that fight. And if you're going to dive a Dr. Mundo, I think wait for that summoner to come up. They end up getting the kill and backing away. Wickd survives. However, Shook stuck around a little bit too long in their mid lane, was caught by Moopz' ultimate, and that allowed SUPA HOT CREW to secure themselves a kill. And very importantly, they pick up a dragon as well. This is something we've seen them doing so well against Meteor Makers, is their map rotation and their decision making, and they actually take the gold lead against Alliance in this game.
I want to see how Moopz really develops in this game, though. That 2-1-0 that is now sat will be a really welcome sign for him. Obviously, close to 30 CS behind in this lane against Froggen's LeBlanc, and if anyone knows how to farm in that mid lane, it certainly would be Froggen. So probably not to be too far unexpected. Let's see that kill in mid again.
Yeah, I mean, Shook trying to trade with the level 8 Gragas gets caught by the full combo. And yeah, there's a couple of flashes burned, but I really don't feel like Shook should have picked that battle. It was against the mid laner, that had his ultimate available, had his full combo of spells, and unfortunately for Shook, he pays the price.
Froggen has just hit 100 CS. MrRalleZ going to be doing a similar thing in a second. And Wicked's not far behind either, with the makings of that Trinity Force already done here. Phage and Sheen both being collected by him.
Now, once that Trinity Force is completed, it's going to make Mimer's defensive decision-making a little more difficult, because you've got a good mixture of magic damage, you've got Sheen procs, you've got physical damage. It's a full combo that you have to deal with, and it actually synergizes with Malphite's kit very well. He does have the ability to land some splash damage on minions, which makes him a pretty powerful split pusher, and with Teleport, he can join a fight. Now, we are noticing Impaler sneaking his way up to this top lane. Assault and Battery is available, and you can see Mimer trading with Wickd. This could be the start of the fight. If Wickd picks it, we are going to see Impaler coming in.
Right, Impaler standing at the back though, and the ultimate coming out of Mimer there, but Impaler has now been able to sneak up onto this top side. Mimer at full HP. Are they going to be able to take Wickd down? Here comes the Assault and Battery. Mimer going to get in on top of him. Is he going to use that unstoppable force to get away? Yes, he is, onto the tower. Wickd survives.
Very smart play there. The burst that's come, there's no burst damage from Super Hot Crew, so they can't shut Wickd down super super He's just going to use that cooldown, gets out nice and safely, no death, and he still has a nice sizable CS lead. So we still haven't used those seen those teleports being used, and I think this is the time it's going to start becoming apparent. Once the dragon respawns in about 3 or 4 minutes time, we'll most likely see Mimer and Wickd needing to position or teleport for those fights.
And this bottom lane, despite, if you look at the scoreboard, relatively low kill scores between them. There's been a lot of action going on down there. The Lions forced out a couple of times, and we can see that Froggen is actually walking his way down towards there. But after that last dragon, they put a lot of wards in position, did Super Hot Crew, and they've got full vision of that bottom river. Yeah,
very good vision control here from Super Hot Crew to allow themselves to back away in the bottom lane. They are slacking a little bit in the top half of the map, but they're anticipating Shook to come through the tri-bush. It's the only portion of the map that is warded there for Mimer. And of course, with his Sadism ultimate, he should be able to get away from the burst. There's a lot that can come down from Malphite and Kha'Zix, but he's playing a little bit risky there.
Right, up in the lane. Meanwhile, Froggen now coming back over, and barrels from Moopz finally starting to hurt now that Athene's Unholy Grail has been finished off for him. He's just less than 20 CS behind here, so actually has caught up a little bit from what the totals were just earlier on. And Froggen again takes a big hit, just trying to pick up that last minion of the wave before actually backing away to what looks like a blue buff pickup for him. Shook had already got that one started off.
Now, with Froggen backs off, he should have enough gold to pick himself up a Deathfire Grasp here. And ironically, with Moopz being shut down fairly strong in the early game, he actually finishes his first sort of big ticket item with that Athene's Unholy Grail. So it's allowing him the ability to push this lane down. And you can see Froggen, he's not given a chance to back away. Gragas at this point can clear waves much faster, can keep the minions pushing against the Alliance's tower, and that is forcing Froggen to either lose the CS or, in this case, lose a lot of HP on that mid turret.
Got less than 2 minutes until the second dragon of the game is going to be coming up here as well. Of course, number one did go over to the Super Hot Crew, and Impaler's already started to get up into the enemy jungle, get some deeper wards in there so that they've got full vision control. Again, though, just to touch on those teleports not really being used that much to come in, and we should be seeing them when it comes to Dragon time.
Yeah, I think Dragon's definitely going to be the point to use those abilities. And in terms of the Dragon fight that is potentially, you know, impending right now, with Moopz and MrRalleZ having their Athenes and the Bloodthirster completed, they've already hit a power spike that Alliance doesn't necessarily have an answer for. Yes, they do have a Deathfire Grasp LeBlanc, so if MrRalleZ is overextended or Moopz is overextended, they could get burst down. The key to this dragon fight for me is going to be Wickd's Triforce Malphite. If he gets a very good unstoppable force, 2 or 3 key targets, that could be all the time that Alliance need, because at this stage in the game, there's not a lot of tankiness. You've got a Sunfire Cape and a Spirit of the Ancient Golem as basically your only tank items here from Super Hot Crew, and there's nothing on the side of Alliance. They're basically all damage. Spirit of the Elder Lizard from Shook, he's going all in for that DPS.
And that's an interesting thing to figure as well, that Mimer has no way of stopping Wicked's teleport at this point. Not true the other side around, but if you use Unstoppable Force to stop Mimer going down, that means there's no Unstoppable Force for a team fight that might happen down in this Dragon area. And I think at this point of the game where they are behind, they're going to have that there.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And what you actually seen in that little mid lane setup now, because of the dashes that you've got from LeBlanc, from Wicked's Malphite in his ultimate, as well as Shook on Kha'Zix, they can actually dive walls and dive under towers, get kills and back away quite quickly. So they were trying to set something up. 4 out of 5 members of Alliance have the ability to sort of blink over walls, so to speak, or, you know, cross those distances. So it's something we've also got to be aware of. Pulling the trigger, somebody could die very quickly.
And I think this dragon may just be giving up for free here. Froggen has wandered off towards the top lane. Wickd will finally come down, but it's going down really quickly. Looks good for the Super Hot Crew. It's gone. It's gone, that one. And it's picked up again. Second dragon in a row for Super Hot Crew. They've got 4 men down here, and really Alliance had no answer for that one.
Absolutely none. I doubt whether they even had the time on that dragon. You had a collection of 3 members from Alliance in the mid lane. I had assumed they were going to go down to Dragon to challenge for it. And the moment Shook showed his face in the top lane to defend the tower and clear the wave, Super Hot Crew said, their jungler's not there, we have Gragas and a Smite, go for Dragon. Even if they challenge, we've got the advantage in their battle, and they extend their gold lead 1,500. Alliance need to be a little careful because they're giving away some pretty big objectives without any contest.
You see that Froggen is once again headed up towards his top lane. He managed to get a kill here earlier on, but Mimer is now much tankier, and the Super Hot Crew are actually headed up towards this one to prevent that gank from happening. But, well, I'll take that one straight back with the DFG, and that's a lot of burst. But Froggen second the turret. There's a barrel. Wickd not going to have tower aggro. There he finally will. Moopz tries to body slam into him. The barrel will land as well, but Malphite walks away. A kill for a kill there. Mimer losing out. He's going to continue to be tanky, but taking out Froggen there is a nice pickup.
Yeah, very good coordination from Alliance to pick up Dr. Mundo. He got just deleted there. The amount of burst that came down was very, very immense. It's also allowed Shook to pick up this tower. Even if Shook goes down, which doesn't look like he will, that would be a worthwhile trade. It's the first tower of the game, and it allows Froggen to start roaming a little bit more frequently. I would like to see Froggen moving to this bottom lane to help out Tabzz and Nyph, who they're still only 13 CS behind, but they've been playing catch-up since the very early game, and they need a little bit of assistance from the rest of Alliance.
See the workings of that Spirit Visage in for Mimer as well, which is certainly going to help out, especially against Froggen and Wicked's burst that we've seen there. Well, this turret in the bottom lane for Alliance, still alive, funnily enough. There's about a third of its health remaining. And it looks like Super Hot Crew's bottom lane hanging around here, but we're thinking about recalling. They see Froggen stood on top of a ward, and that's not something they can contest with it all here.
No, definitely not. Great ward as well. The moment Froggen was killed in the top lane, migxa actually moved from the lane to the river, placed a ward just in front of that tri-bush, almost anticipating the move down to the bottom lane. And it reveals Froggen. Immediately, MrRalleZ and migxa back off. They put another ward in the river to, you know, prevent anybody surprising them. And even though the pink was used there from Nyph, it's very good decision-making from MrRalleZ and migxa. They're setting themselves up very, very nicely in these opening 20 minutes.
So where are the next plays going to come down? Blue buff is up over on the Alliance side. Froggen has already thought about moving down there, but sees that his jungler actually has just finished off red, and Shook will be coming out of the base here with an extra pickaxe added into his arsenal. Red did go over to Impaler a little bit earlier on as well, so red buffs both in the hands of the junglers. We can see that Vi is actually coming towards mid.
Well, we'll see how she makes this one work. Does have Assault and Battery. Without having Distortion available, Froggen could be at risk of getting caught out. But I think Moopz just not baiting that one out well enough. In terms of the itemization, still no GP10s. As I said, a GP10 just picked up for migxa, very, very late in the game, 20 minutes down. But we're seeing a Haunting Guise here for Nyph's Annie. No boots either. So he's content to sit on this tower, content to let Tabzz to farm up, and waiting to try get some of that burst. And hopefully, with the help of Shook or Froggen, that's going to be enough burst to pick up kills.
Yeah, I think that Coin obviously coming in so late into the game, more about what it builds into. The talisman by the end, obviously give them that movement speed and get Mundo at the front, get Vi in there as they going on towards Tabzz. That's a ton of damage. Flash is coming back and Shook is there. But here is Impaler on the bottom side as well. The culling does come out, and both teams coming away losing no men.
Not yet, but now Mimer, ooh, that's a lot of damage from Froggen, and you know, a lot of summoner spells burning their bottom lane. Both of the duos burning their flashes and barriers, only an ignite sitting on Nyph, and I actually think Tabzz may have tried to bait that hook out. I think he wanted to get caught and then got surprised by the amount of burst that went down. We do see now Shook and LeBlanc coming in on Moopz.
Oh, he could be in trouble here. And by could, I mean he definitely is from this one. He's going to try and head north, but that won't get him away from things. It's actually going to be a kill and a turret there coming in the bottom lane.
So a kill secured for for Alliance, but a tower secured for Super Hot Crew. I think that works out in favor of Super Hot Crew. They've alleviated that objective now from Alliance, and it's going to allow MrRalleZ and migxa, I think, to start roaming. You can see the play that Alliance wants to make. They want Shook and Froggen moving around the map. They want to look for an opportunity where they can fight a 2v2, 3v3, win with a kill very quickly, and then push a lane out. With Dragon up in 1 minute, I think they'd have to roam bottom now. I think they have to apply some pressure, get vision control, and challenge for this Dragon. They can't give up a third one in a row.
Well, Nyph has already started to get the vision down there on that side. The Trinity Force is already complete as well for Tabzz, so that makes him feel a little bit more comfortable once these fights come around. The top laners do both have their teleport ready as well, so they'll be able to get involved when that Dragon comes up in 40 seconds time.
The one thing we are noticing once again with regards to builds is just the very early Void Staff here from Froggen. There's not a huge amount of magic resist on the side of SUPA HOT CREW, so that's going to amplify his damage even more against these squishies. He may have even avoided the Ring of Wards. A great lantern there for migxa, just revealing his position. I mean, Froggen had snuck himself in. He'd avoided the pink ward behind the Dragon Pit. SUPA HOT CREW just responded to that just on a gut feel. migxa saying, hang on a minute. We haven't seen LeBlanc, and a very good lantern.
Yep, making sure that they don't get caught out by that one. If you look at the gold, it's not really much of a difference between them. About 200 it's sat at right now. We've seen already Wickd come down towards this middle lane. So it seems like Alliance want to challenge for this Dragon. That will be started off already. Yeah,
they've got better positioning as well because Wicked's here without needing to use the teleport. I don't know if SUPA HOT CREW can challenge without maybe trying to steal, and they're not going to work.
Nah, Impaler's actually inside of the Dragon Pit there. He has to flash away from it. In the meantime, Mimer takes down the top turret at the same time.
Now, Alliance need to make a decision and react to this. Wickd could teleport top to defend, or they could try to do a 5-man on the tower. They've caught Impaler.
They caught Impaler out, but Froggen actually missing the leash from that one. They've got positional advantage here, though, and they're going towards migxa. There goes Tabzz. migxa falling low. Cologne actually coming out, but Mimer is there now. The jump actually will get shook the kill, and they could keep going for this one. Actually, it looks like they want to keep them away more from that mid lane to get the push in.
This is a smarter option indeed. If Alliance can get the tower, that's what counts. Mimer is about to run out of his ultimate, is still very tanky and scary, and even with that kill, Alliance need to back away. The threats are Moopz and MrRalleZ, and they weren't able to shut them down, but a nice win considering SUPA HOT CREW initiated, they burned the teleport for that, and Wickd still has his available.
Yep, and this tower, they need to protect this one though, Alliance. They can't afford to just back straight off from this. Moopz is able to keep them fairly far away from it. And we can see that the bottom lane is actually pushed heavily as well on that inner turret.
Yeah, Alliance needs to send somebody there to respond to it, or try to wait for Tabzz' True Shot Barrage. Allow that to try and push out the minions. Wickd has already taken the duty of defending the top, and ironically, after the fight, after Alliance trying to push mid, they lose their own mid-outer turret. And that's definitely not something you want to be seeing. Maybe they just didn't anticipate it. They weren't expecting SUPA HOT CREW to jump on them. You see Impaler, Salt and Battery's available. He's going in.
Yeah, going in there on towards Froggen, who may be in trouble. He's already used his movement, and that is not going to be him getting away. It's Moopz that actually finished it off from the backside. And that is another kill for Moopz. 4-2-0 with a death cap done now.
Very patient play from SUPA HOT CREW. They sat themselves in the bush. They waited for somebody to go past. Now they keep the 5-man push on. They're going to take this turret. There's only 2 members of Alliance there. Tabzz has only just recalled. And SUPA HOT CREW secure their 4th tower of the game and give themselves... It's only 1,000 gold, which is something that's good for Alliance. But the map control sits with SUPA HOT CREW.
Yeah, 4-2. There's a big wave for the taking on that top lane as well here on the SUPA HOT CREW's inner turret. But the bottom lane remains completely intact. The mid lane being stripped open, of course, from Alliance's side of things. And this gold keeps swinging around. That last Dragon fight brought it back towards Alliance. SUPA HOT CREW with that push back there, bringing it in their favor. You have to wonder where the next swing's going to come in.
Yeah, this is a very good decision now, realizing the minion wave is pushing down to the bottom, thanks to Wickd actually, Tabzz rather, defending it a little bit earlier. But they've got to be a little careful. The 2 carries, if they catch Shook, Shook could be killed. Explosive Cask is available right now. They're going to throw it in.
Here we go, Moopz coming out there. He's actually saving it off from this one. There's a lot of damage from the rest of the team. The Cologne comes through the wall. Moopz actually going in, and Wickd uses the Unstoppable Force to get out to Dragon.
Unstoppable Force and Flash used defensively just to get out. Moopz being a little bit hesitant there. If it maybe got the damage down with the Explosive Cast, could have picked themselves up yet another kill. But SUPA HOT CREW are reading and reacting to Alliance's play perfectly. They always seem to be in the right place. They always seem to take advantage when Alliance are caught out. And that's why they've got this extra tower lead right now.
But will they be able to last it and push through for it? That's the difficult thing in this scenario against players like, well, I'm just going to say Froggen and Wickd, because they've been in a scenario where they've been behind and had to defend so many times that you can't really count that. And we also saw them yesterday, risky Baron plays. Will that kind of thing come into play here again?
Well, one of the things that is quite different between that game and this game now is the factor of Ziggs. When you think about Ziggs as a defender, it's something Deficio's been talking about extensively. He's basically the new Anivia because he can stall games out, clears waves very quickly. Millennium had the problem against SK. They couldn't get through Jez's Ziggs. As I'm waffling, Shook, I thought Impaler was going to go in there, just clearing the golems. We'll finish the story in a second. Shook has been sitting in this bush for a long time.
Yeah, it
A
looks
very
like
long time.
maybe trying to bait them out to have a go at Froggen. Just wait for them to go a little bit too far on that bottom lane. What? Ral's playing this one super smart, even throws the ward in there, and Shook's like, damn it, that's time wasted now.
Not falling for the tricks at all. And back to the Ziggs thing. If Froggen had picked Ziggs, it was available in this matchup, was not banned, was not taken away. It's a champion that can do well against Gragas, and if SUPA HOT CREW keep playing this map, keep playing the tower game and the minion game, Ziggs with his Mega Inferno Bomb can clear waves, can control lanes while applying pressure with your team. And it's something that they're a little bit lacking right now. So we'll see how the rest of this game pans out as Alliance are even on kills. Again, they're only 1,000 gold down, but the tempo of the game is in favor of SUPA HOT CREW.
If you look at the CS here as well, some things have stayed the same, some things switching over slightly. We can see the AD carries. MrRalleZ does maintain that advantage that he's had pretty much the entire game. Mid lane, though, has swung over. Those 4 kills as well for Moopz. Really nice for him, and that's because of that wave clear that he really has now that the barrel is strong enough. He's got himself an extra blasting one in there as well. Both AD carries have the Trinity Force finished, and that Blade of the Ruin King for the extra kite ability that we talked about earlier on is in for Tabzz as well. And we see that we've already started to have a lot of movement around Baron. There's pink wards in there that'll start to be cleared out a couple of times. Actually, teleport coming down. Wickd might get caught out of this one. He will actually go away. Use of the unstoppable force, though, and that's not what they need.
Not right now. The thing is, Alliance are still setting up to pick a fight here. There's no unstoppable, so if Froggen doesn't kill somebody very quickly, this could turn bad. Froggen is caught on the opposite side of his team. The rest of SUPA HOT CREW, I think they realize it, and they're going to start the siege up. They've got a lot of very good poke, and if anyone gets caught by that hook, you can expect Vio Dr. Mundo to go under the tower.
Oh, the culling coming out. Didn't do any killing, though. Shook managed to get himself out of range of that one, and in the end, the wave will be cleared. There was the hook coming out. Shook just sidestepping that one. And they have to wait here, because if they get into a fight without unstoppable force, you have to feel that SUPA HOT CREW are going to have not just the advantage, but quite a large one.
Yeah, definitely the case. I think for Alliance's combination to work, they need to stun and hold in place multiple members so that Kha'Zix and LeBlanc have the time to kill them. There's 2 things I want to touch on in the items. Is we have 3 sweeping lenses on the side of Alliance and an Atma's Impaler that has been picked up by Wickd. He's really committing to this mixed damage type of build. Atma's Impaler is going to give you a decent chunk of AD based on your total health. You do see now Froggen caught out. He goes on Impaler, doesn't catch him though.
Impaler's gone very deep from this one. Actually, he's going to come over with a lantern into the rest of the team. There's a barrel right down the middle. Shook is going to fall. That's 1 kill apiece right now, though. MrRalleZ is actually chasing down on towards Nyph on the bottom side. That should be a kill for him. Will get it actually finished off. 2 kills now. Can they chase in? Wickd, he's got his unstoppable force and will go in there with that one. Moopz coming back into the fight. Wickd is still alive, but incredibly low. MrRalleZ picks up himself a 3rd kill of it, and that will be a 3 for 2 for SUPA HOT CREW. But will they go back now towards Baron?
This is the exact person we were talking about in the pregame. We wanted to see MrRalleZ in a position where you can get fed and make an impact in the game. 3 kills in that team fight because Alliance were out of position. They were a little bit spread throughout the jungle. The chain did not catch on Impaler from LeBlanc. He threw it out and it didn't connect. This is the exact moment I'm talking about. If that burst had landed onto Impaler, it would have been a little bit of a silence, more damage, and maybe could have got an earlier reset for Shook. Shook in between 4 members of SUPA HOT CREW, you're not going to be able to survive that. It's basically just cleanup. SUPA HOT CREW have got more members here. They're tight and knit. They can stick to single targets, and they just shut them down. Good effort by Wickd to at least pick up a kill on the way out. But fact of the matter is, Alliance should not have started that fight unless they were all together and could kill that target. The fact that Shook jumped in after Impaler was still alive, it was questionable. I think they should have backed away.
And we are 30 minutes into the game now, so let's take stock of things overall. 8-7 in kills, 4-3 in turrets, close on that front, but the gold, currently a 3,000 advantage for the SUPA HOT CREW. We can see that they've started off Baron Nashor, but the wards put in by Wickd at the back will signal an instant retreat.
Yeah, he just got his Unstoppable Force available as well if they wanted to use it. Once again, Alliance is split up. Wickd's been caught!
He's been caught, and that Unstoppable Force finally coming back off cooldown. He actually flashes out of range, comes back in. Here comes Shook as well, diving across, but the barrel pins him to the wall. Tabzz is at the back as well, but Mimer is regenning like no tomorrow. There was the active use from the Blade of the Ruined King, but Nyph will fall, and they could keep going from this one as well. Tabzz does manage to get away, but how far away as a briefcase lands? Triple kill again for MrRalleZ, and that's 4 men down on Alliance's side.
Back-to-back triple kills. Super Hot Crew thinking about chasing Froggen, realizing we've got tanks and there's an exposed inhibitor turret. They're going to pick up their 5th tower of the game, and they're going to grab the inhibitor. Froggen gets out, but he can't even kill migxa. If a LeBlanc is unable to kill a support at this stage in the game, you're going to have a bad time. You need to be able to remove a member of your opposition team and then win with superior numbers. And Froggen is just trying to delay, just trying to prevent them getting more objectives.
Yeah, and you can see they're a little bit scared of backing off towards that Baron. As they were pushing in, there was 20 seconds on the spawn timer. Not really a huge amount. It's enough, though, for them to get in there and take down that inhibitor, though.
Well, we'll see how Alliance respond. Froggen taking a massive chunk of damage there. He's got no real additional magic resist here. He's gone full aggression on his itemization. And over on the other side with that Void Staff and the Rabadon's Death Cap, Moopz is hitting very, very hard. Alliance are now 7,000 gold down. They've got super minions pushing the mid lane. They have very good waves pushing top and bottom, but when you've got to play very defensive duty now, you're not able to push these lanes quite as well as you were hoping.
No, it's going to be all about the Baron dance here for a while, surely. As the Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes, definitely not a bad pickup this far into the game, though.
Definitely not at all. It's a decent chunk of gold, scales with your champion level, of course, and I think gold is going to help Alliance, but what they really need to pick up is just better positioning. If you look at the mini-map, you've got 4 or 5 members of Super Hot Crew all in the same area. And, they're trying to focus down Mimer, trying to focus down the tanks. Impaler and Mimer. MrRalleZ is untouched. Alliance have not hit the AD carry, and that's the one that you really need to focus, because he's going to get you low and allow your tanks of Vi and Mondo to kill the rest of your team. We do see Mimer taking a good burst from Froggen, but not enough to kill him.
That was close. Cullen actually coming out here on towards Wickd, and good chunk of damage as well. This time putting out from that one. Super Hot Crew start to back away again. Those sweeping lenses, which they now have 3 of, also going to be very, very useful over that side of the map. The Dragon is going to be coming up in 1 minute's time, and there's a lot of pinging coming down here from the Super Hot Crew. We can see the recall from Froggen. That's going to leave a 5 versus 4 at this point around Baron. Super Hot Crew are going in for it.
Yeah, Super Hot Crew are confident that they've got control of the vision right now. They've also got a lot of burst with the Vi, with Smite, as well as the Gragas combo. They can knock Alliance away, or they can use the Gragas combo to help secure Baron. Baron's getting low, and that's the Gragas ulti.
Yeah, the zoning potential coming in there is Wickd diving down, but Baron goes over to the Super Hot Crew. migxa's gonna fall, but Assault and Battery comes in towards Shook. Impaler falls. There's a mid-air kill for RalleZ, and he may just clean up from this one. Does get stunned in the end. They're Froggen over the back. They've picked up Gragas as well, but Mimer gonna be hammering away on the AD carry in the mid laner. He's not taken much damage at all, and he can stick to them like no tomorrow if these briefcases continue to land. He's gonna keep them away from things. RalleZ on the top side, pushing the minions through.
This is the best decision for Super Hot Crew. Get the super minions up to the Nexus turrets, because they cannot compete with MrRalleZ damage right now. A very good reactive fight once Alliance lost the initial engage, because with LeBlanc and Ezreal jumping over walls, it makes it very difficult to chase him. Now, Tabzz is going toe-to-toe with MrRalleZ.
Yeah, toe-to-toe, I'm not sure is the best fight for him at this point. He's a level behind. You see the item difference between them as well, but he will at least try to push them out completely to the base. Froggen's presence as well forces Super Hot Crew back. He has a teleport coming into the mid lane from Wickd. He doesn't have Unstoppable Force ready right now. Mimer going to pop his ultimate and should be able to just simply walk on by.
Yeah, teleport used just for sadism. That's definitely a victory here for Super Hot Crew. I'm not sure why Alliance wanted to chase that. There was no Unstoppable Force available. Yeah, maybe Froggen and Tabzz could have chased that one down. I don't think it was going to work out for them. On the way out, Super Hot Crew grabbed themselves a Dragon as well. So they extend their gold lead further. They still have map control. And Alliance, they just responded to that Baron play late. They simply did not get there in time to realistically make an attempt. And you know, you can't really give a Baron away without any form of contest, so at the very least they did trade 3 for 3 in total for that fight.
Well, one thing I'll give for Alliances, you know, their side of things on that Baron, well, the barrel is relevant as well. Moopz was there the entire time, zoning them out completely. When they started to move close, the ultimate threw them back, delayed them a little bit, and yeah, they threw everything in there because look at the gold. It's almost a 10,000 gold lead. Alliance needs to start getting that back somehow.
What Moopz did to Alliance is what Froggen failed to do yesterday. He attempted to use his Gragas barrel to knock the opponents away and thought that they were out of smite range. And all of a sudden, Cyanide just hops back over the wall and steals that Baron. Moopz did it a little bit better. It was still risky, right? It was still risky. Probably could have been a little more accurate, but it worked out for them. And you've got MrRalleZ, 804. Lost Whisper, Bloodthirster, BF Sword, and 4 sweeping lenses. Super Hot Crew are going to play the vision game, denying it from Alliance. And we do see Moopz caught a little bit by Froggen, but he doesn't get taken out.
Yeah, DFG was used there by Froggen. Not able to follow up from it, though, unfortunately for them. But Froggen will continue to wait off to the side. We see both Impaler and RALLZ have Banshee's Veils in there at this point, which means that Froggen's burst not going to be as effective unless they get those Banshee's Veils out of the game before that. This time, they've just forced Wickd completely off that inner turret, and that will be all but the final one. Still top lane remains. Actually, Shook going to get hooked into this one. Are they going to actually take this fight? The entire Super Hot team is there at the back of them. Couple of guys going low for Alliance, and Cologne going to start to come through as well. There is the ultimate pop for a second time by Shook, but RALLZ, now legendary, does pick up a kill finally onto Wickd. This could be a second inhib.
Definitely. The middle inhib is very low as well, so Super Hot Crew with a numbers advantage, and as still MrRalleZ basically untouched. He just melted the HP of Wickd. Wickd, the culling, shredded his HP bar. Now Super Hot Crew going to roll around to this middle lane, secure themselves a second inhibitor, and this looks like Alliance could be going 0-3.
Well, mixa's just gone down. Tabzz actually chased him out, but the rest of SHC were on the inhibitor. Mimer here gonna be getting slowed down and caught out, but there's a big barrel from the backside here from Moopz. That will take out Froggen, and all of a sudden it's 3-on-3 again. Are they gonna be able to get him dived in from Shook? But Moopz has survived it. No, the jump came in right at the very end. It was in fact a flash from Shook as he tried to get the kill and did get the kill, but that now leaves a 2-on-2, a big tank and an AD carry against Annie and an AD carry. Either way, Super Hot Crew have decided that's enough for enough, and they're going to go towards his top lane. A bit safer for them, and that will eliminate everything on the map outside of Alliance's base.
Massive death timers is going to make defending now a little bit more difficult. They've only got 1 inhibitor standing in that top lane. With super minions in the middle and the bottom, and 4 sweeping lenses on the side of Super Hot Crew, they're just going to roll through the jungle, deny all of the wards that have been placed out, and once again set themselves up for a siege. Super Hot Crew can go to the top lane, group up as a 4 and a 5-man team, allow the minions to push the rest of the lanes, and the moment somebody responds to those double super minions, that's when they pick the fight on the inhibitor. Super Hot Crew, they have to make a monumental mistake to lose this game right now.
RALLZ has 2,300 gold to spend right now. He's not got many more slots left. He's actually just been finishing off there as he picked up an Infinity Edge to add in. 10-0-5 right now, having a beast of a game. You talked about it before the game as well, that he has to come into that form that he had against Meet Your Makers, where, funnily enough, they played the exact same combo in game number 1 that they have here against Alliance. Seems to be working a charm for them.
That's exactly what we said. They tried a fast push strategy yesterday. It didn't work. We said, go back to your roots. Play an aggressive jungler on Impaler. He's playing Vi. Vi is what was banned against Super Hot Crew. That's what cost them to lose the games. This is the exact same composition they've run multiple times. It's what they used to beat Meet Your Makers, and it shows. Their decision-making on towers, their decision-making on team fights is good. And, you know, if you go all the way back to the first few Dragons, Alliance didn't challenge. Alliance didn't compete for Dragons 1 and 2. I think number 3 as well. Wickd recalls from the bottom lane, and as we talked about, Super Hot Crew now with a 5-man stack, going to wait for those super minions to do the work for them. They're just going to stall out here on top for as long as possible.
And how do you really hold out on this one? You're going to have everything being thrown through onto those barrels, the cleavers. You're going to have Lucian hammering away as well. It's hard to stand on this turret and avoid all the damage that can be thrown in here by the Super Hot Crew. Right now, the minions do start to push through. I mean, they've got a bit of poke back for themselves here. Tabzz in particular, who's definitely hitting pretty hard at this point. but can they sustain that defense?
Once again, I want to reiterate, if Ziggs had been here defending, the wave clear would have been stronger. There's not a lot of wave clear from Alliance. You can see SUPA HOT CREW just getting auto attack after auto attack. They're relying on the missiles from Ziggs, as well as some of the respective splash damage from the rest of the team. Look at the mini-map. There is an immense number of super minions pushing this bottom lane. And SUPA HOT CREW, if there was a time to fight, it should be now. This is when they need to pull the trigger and go in.
It is decision time here, surely, for Alliance. Who are they going to send down there? They've got Tabzz moving in. He's actually doing a good job of taking him out, but this turret in the top lane, down to half HP right now. Is the fight going to come down? Look at the culling onto Nyph. Loses half of his health instantly, and the SUPA HOT CREW are going for it. They're going to try and push down the final inhibitor turret. Wickd caught up with the box. Will they try and finish him off before he goes back? He uses on top of force. Barrel comes in as well. Nyph goes down straight away, and this is surely going to be game here for the SUPA HOT CREW. Shook gets one. He will be allowed to then jump away, but that means no defense for Alliance, and the SUPA HOT CREW make a miserable first 2 days here for Alliance and pick up their first win in the LCS.
They have done it, and they have done it convincingly. From the moment the mid-game rolled around, SUPA HOT CREW demanded attention. They pushed the lanes, they controlled the dragons, and they have taken Alliance out. This is the third time we've seen the looks on these players' faces.
And the way that it's going for them, it might not be the last either. I mean, SUPA HOT CREW coming in, we pointed out some things that went wrong for them yesterday. And it's funny because we were talking to the official about this game upstairs. He said, guys, don't underestimate SUPA HOT CREW. Yesterday, their team composition just didn't work out for them. It wasn't a good scenario that they were in. This time around, well, they went back to something that worked for them just on Saturday that got them qualified for the LCS as a whole. They picked the exact same team, and well, actually, their numbers against migxa were less impressive than these numbers here against Alliance.
10-0-7 on MrRalleZ AD carry Lucian. I mean, that is one of the best performances we've seen. MrRalleZ and migxa were completely in control of the lane against Tabzz and Nyph. Tabzz and Nyph were sitting on the back foot. They couldn't deal with the pressure. They were always farming under their tower. No ganks affected them. They didn't get caught out. And I think overall, from that very strong laning phase, they transitioned to dragon control, they transitioned to tower control, and it was just, I don't want to say plain sailing, but it was very steady, constant growth from the SUPA HOT CREW.
And on the other side, you have to wonder from Alliance's side of things. Froggen said in the video, yes, you can blame me if it goes wrong, if this whole super team that we've built up doesn't work out. And up until now, you have to say it's not been the start that Alliance and their fans have been looking for.
Definitely not. And I really want to highlight, once again, LeBlanc in this particular pick. The theory was sound. You know, Malphite plus Kha'Zix plus LeBlanc, I mean, who's going to survive that sort of all-in? But if you don't get those kills early, if you don't get them before 20 minutes, your opponents get too tanky or they can get too far ahead that it's too risky to jump in. And that's exactly what we've seen. Had that LeBlanc been a Ziggs, it could have stalled. It could have challenged to steal dragons. The Baron is riskier when you're fighting a Ziggs on the background than a LeBlanc. So I'm not convinced by LeBlanc so far.
Yeah, and we talked about CS in the early game as well, where Froggen did an incredible job of staying ahead of Moopz pretty much entirely. But you also, in hindsight, have to wonder if that was Moopz playing so safe that he didn't move forward and end up giving kills over to Froggen to get that LeBlanc going. Yeah, okay, 20 CS here and there. It's very different to getting the kill snowball going.
Very true. It's the value of a kill in gold, but what's more important to note is, yes, Froggen got control, but he didn't do anything with it. A CS lead does not equate to a game lead. You need to have the person losing experience more, losing their tower, unable to roam. And then once Gragas hit levels, LeBlanc couldn't do that anymore because, you know, Froggen had to sit defending his tower the whole time. So it was a strong start, but it didn't equate to anything. And that's the point that I think matters more.
Well, a big win for the SUPA HOT CREW. Their first here in the LCS in 2014. Unfortunately for Alliance, they're still looking for that one. Guys, it's time to take a short break, but stay tuned because Shox is standing by with MrRalleZ from SUPA HOT CREW. And then old rivals Fnatic and SK will look to crush each other.